Remember, there's some pretty important information here in the disclaimer. You might want to give the video a quick pause and read it.
Oh, hey everybody, it's me, Sonic! Sonic the Hedgehog! Just here to remind you that if you haven't already, make sure to hit that like button. And for even more amazing customs, don't forget to subscribe to Wake Angel 2001, because between you and me, they're way past cool.
Hello my friends, this is Wake Angel 2001 coming at you with a commission for Captain Kingsman 16, Rouge the Bat. Of course, this isn't like all my other Rouge the Bat videos because this one is a Jakks Pacific scaled Rouge the Bat figure. That's right folks, my first official custom of a Jakks Pacific scaled character is Rouge. Was there any doubt that it was going to be Rouge? I mean, I guess there was some, because my followers on Patreon already know that I'm also working on a Soap Shoes Sonic, but Rouge won. She was the one that got finished first. Okay, so because Jakks Pacific has still not made any female characters for this line, I needed to get a figure that would basically match in proportion and scale. And the Loyal Subjects action vinyl of Tsuyu Asui, better known as Froppy, was pretty much the best base that I could use in this situation. She has a similar build, her arms and legs are just long and thin enough, and, she's the right height. Now, people looking at this little preview image here might notice that the printed Rouge head is red. Why is that? It's because it's a leftover from one of the very first models I 3D printed back when I first got the printer. And it still had its initial filament, which was red instead of white. This is the original, based off the original model that Corey sent me, Corey Sonic fan. And when he had it scaled in such a way that it would make a 4-inch figure. I had to reduce the scale to make it match with the Jazzwares line, as seen here in the side-by-side comparison, but the original head that I printed out before actually checking scale actually does fit in pretty good with the 4-inch figures made by Jakks, as seen here compared side-by-side with Shadow's head. Of course, going back to this little preview image, you can see that I did have to do some quality of life improvements, basically cutting away the scarring at the bottom of the figure and then sculpting better, the bottom of the hair points and the muzzle to make them nice and smooth, and then sculpting the eyelashes because they didn't actually come out very well. But, aside from that, the head was, pretty solid. Alright, so, on to Tsuyu. The body of these action vinyls made by Loyal Subjects actually dismantle pretty well. With a little bit of heat, all the pin discs and the shoulders pop out, the hips actually come out pretty easily because they're just ball joints. Funnily enough, the waist itself is a ball joint too. I thought it was a mushroom cap, but I guess it's just easier for them to use ball joints. And I did 3D print the Rouge and the Rouge's boots and gloves, the same as I do for the 3-inch figures, except that I scaled them up to match that head that I had. Okay, so let's get into some actual figure modding, starting with the torso. Now, to paraphrase Mineta, Tsuyu is surprisingly busty for a frog, but she's not quite busty enough to be Rouge. So, with a little bit of sanding to get rid of the straps that make up part of Tsuyu's costume, I basically sculpted over everything, giving her Rouge's pair of massive jubblies. It's actually quite impressive how large they are. I guess I should say that Captain Kingsman specifically wanted me to try and make the look accurate to the Sonic 06 interpretation of Rouge, which had a bit more of a push-up bra effect going on than certain other depictions of her. But yeah, it's mostly the same as Rouge as I always make her, just a little bit bigger. Of course, because it's a chibi-style action vinyl, the Froppy figure didn't really have much in the way of hump, so I also had to do a bit of sculpting on the lower body. Nothing too extreme. After all, I don't want to impede the legs from moving or anything. And I cut off the ball that would connect it to Suyu's head. The My Hero Academia figure is designed to have a neck, but Sonic characters don't really have necks. So all I had to do was cut the ball off, and that would shorten everything enough that I could just drill a hole in the bottom of that Rouge head and stick it on there, and it would create the look. And it holds on very well by friction. So although you can pull it off, it will never fall off by accident. But I'm getting ahead of myself because we're not going to talk about the head just yet. We're going to talk about the arms and legs because I actually put quite a bit of thought into the engineering of this, and you're going to sit there and listen to it. So here's Froppy's feet. On the left you can see the ball joint that I cut off, and on the right you can see the whole thing. And I measured, always make sure you do your measuring first, kiddos, and drilled down deep enough into the feet that I could stick this little ball joint in. Just in case you're having a hard time seeing it, I took a picture at a higher angle right here so you could see the ball joints glued in there. That sticking the foot on, sticking the leg into that hole, onto the ball joint, would allow the legs to be the proper length, and then I used some sculpting to smooth everything out, to make it look like the boot is a continuous piece up to the knee, and not that it just stops and then a skinny little leg comes out of it. This does mean that it's the first time I ever made a Rouge the Bat figure that has working ankle articulation. It's just a simple little swivel, but it is, it's better than nothing. It's not, and that's it's kind of cool. I have a Rouge with ankle articulation. Haven't done that before. And I used a very similar technique on the arms as well. Here you can see the 3D printed hands. Rouge's hands are a little bit bigger than Froppy's are when everything is scaled right. I was hoping that I could stick with Froppy's original hands because they actually did look okay for this, but they were too small. So I cut off the bottom part of it so that it could go into the wrist cuff, and stuck it onto the hand, and sanding away the wrist cuff and sculpting everything makes it, so that I have arms with Rouge's hands and wrist swivels. So there we go with that. Now, I think at this point I should say that the Rouge figure as being presented is not 100% complete. Captain Kingsman wants her to have elbow joints, and as an interesting coincidence, the Good Smile Company, the people that make Figma figures, have actually begun to sell kits of just their joints, and I ordered a set of their white joints, which should be the perfect size and resistance to add elbow joints to these arms. Unfortunately, I had to get them on pre-order. They probably won't get here until January or February, so I'm going to be holding on to this Rouge figure until those joints arrive. Then I'm going to upgrade her arms with those joints, and then the figure will officially be complete. But this could still be considered a complete enough because, as we all know, the Jakks Pacific figures don't have elbow joints. So Rouge not having elbows means that for now she would even blend right in. Okay, so the head, you already saw the modifications I did to the sculpt, so here it is all painted up. It's basically the same as any Rouge head I've ever made before, just, bigger because it's 4-inch scale. And same as always, I made the wings with craft foam. Don't fix what ain't broken. This stuff is lightweight, so it won't throw the figure off balance. It's flexible, so that if you bump into it or if the figure falls on her wings, they won't break. And, it's very paintable. I painted it that dark shade of purple for the wing membranes, with a slightly lighter purple to be the wing fingers. So with all that said and done, here is the completed Rouge the Bat figure. Yes, she's Rouge. She has all the same articulation that the Froppy figure still had, except now the neck is a swivel joint instead of a ball joint, but she still has universally jointed shoulders, wrists, a waist rotation, ball jointed hips, knees, ankle swivels, and yes, she does indeed scale pretty much perfectly with the 4-inch Jakks Pacific figures. Here she is standing next to her partner Shadow. And This is the shadow that was sent to me to customize, and look at his right shoe. Like, the tongue of his shoe is white. That doesn't look like an amateur paint job. It looks like that they just forgot to paint it red in the factory. Like, come on, Jakks. Like, we're already getting factory defects? What's up with that? That's weird. Oh well, I'm not going to be using that foot when I customize his shadow figure anyway. So that is my first ever Jakks Pacific custom, and it is Rouge the Bat, who ironically doesn't use any actual parts of a Jakks Pacific figure, but, you know, that will be coming up sooner rather than later. So thank you all for watching this video. This is Wake Angel 2001, signing off.